that was even played. Rockets beat the Warriors. Stop, Nick. Rockets beat the Warriors in an ugly game, but it was a pivotal one. They now take a 3-2 series lead. The Warriors have now dropped 2 playoff games in a row. They haven't done that since the 2016 finals. However, as expected, Steve Kerr says he's not worried heading into Game 6.
I feel great about where we are right now. And that may sound crazy, but I feel it. I know exactly what I'm seeing out there. And we defended them beautifully tonight. We got everything we needed. Just too many turnovers, too many reaches. And if we settle down a little bit, we're going to be in really good shape.
It's a big statement there. Really good shape, because they're not in great shape right now. What do you think about what Steve Kerr said, CeCe?
No, I don't believe him. I can't believe after that game, because I listened to Draymond, because I went back and listened to Draymond after game number 4. And Draymond was like, man, you know, we're pissed. We gave a game away. I think they gave this game away. I mean, you can't expect Houston to shoot the ball that poorly again. You can't expect Chris Paul to be out of the game in the most critical time again. Like, you can't expect that, like, in Houston. Like, if there was a Game 7, and you say, hey, Steve Kerr, you have the same scenario again. He'd be like, yeah, absolutely. Sign me up for that. But that would be after they had won game number 6, not knowing where Iggy's going to be back. So, no, I don't believe him. Yeah, this is the first time, Nick, that they've been down the series since when?
First time they've been trailing in a series since before they got Durant, when they were down 3-1 to OKC and then down 3-2 to OKC.
Yeah, like, and the reason why I know, Jenna, because I work with a guy. Oh, shit, I ain't worried. Shaking his feet like the duck on the pond.
Right.
Them feet up under. LeBron. No, Steve Kerr, he should be concerned. This is the best team that he's faced in this run that they've been on. This is the only team that had home court advantage against them. And do they have the matchups? Do they have the firepower? No, they can't outshoot Houston. This is the first time they faced anyone this run that'd be like, man, we can't outshoot them. There got to be some other ways that we got to try to beat them. And the last 2 games, they had a chance to win. But their inability to run their offense in the last minute of the game,
I mean, there you go.
It's shocking.
There you go. James Harden drove to the basket, kicked it to Eric Gordon to hit a 3 with 1:20 left. That put Houston up by 4 points. That was also the last basket Houston made. 1:20 left. Houston's done making baskets. Houston's done scoring, except for in foul situations where the Warriors are fouling to stop the clock. Go ahead.
And in a lot of playoff situations, champion situations, that's all the field goals you get. It's normally a free throw shooting contest after that. So that's a typical situation they were in when he hits that.
So Houston doesn't make another basket. The rest of the way, let's look at what Golden State runs, who gets the shots, and who is not involved. Draymond gets a 3. Great make by him. Quinn Cook takes their most important shot of the season with Steph running wide open. That ain't great. Steph Curry misses a very tough layup. And in the final possession of the game, you're kicking it up to Draymond. Let's show this again. Kevin Durant, is he standing out of bounds? You're going to see someone fly into the screen at the end here. It's not Kevin Durant. He never comes into the frame. See, you told me that Kevin Durant knew he made a mistake at the end of game 4.
Absolutely.
That he said, I knew I should have taken that shot. Well, he couldn't have scripted a better opportunity to make up for it than at the end of game number 5. 4 possessions. Draymond gets a 3, and credit Draymond, who is never afraid of anything, going back to game 7 against the Cavs when Draymond had a brilliant basketball game. Draymond takes a shot. Quinn Cook, who was in the G League.
He was so wide open, he had enough time to take a dribble.
Yeah, I mean, he fumbled the ball. He couldn't believe it. The next possession down, Steph, I'll give Steph credit. Steph attacked the basket. Really tough shot, but at least he was in attack mode. And then that last play, when you have to, you know the Rockets have a foul to give, so there's a little, you can't quite do the easy math. They screwed up the rebound, so they couldn't advance it to midcourt. But KD's not involved. What was KD, if Draymond doesn't turn the ball over, I'm just curious, what's KD's plan 46 feet from the basket with 1 foot out of bounds with 4 seconds left?
Every coach I ever had said, hey, man, you got a guy next to you? Uncover. Go to an open area. Try to create some space for yourself. He didn't move.
Was Quinn Cook the plan ever drawn? Was it ever drawn up that Quinn Cook was going to get the ball and take the shot? This is the 2nd straight game that ended like this. The last game that came down to the wire We talked about it, and CC, you were surprised. You're like, I'm surprised there wasn't a better play drawn up or any semblance of a play. It looked like everybody was a mess. It kind of appeared that it was this way, too.
Absolutely, Jenna. It's a great observation. And no, they didn't draw up anything. Well, Chris, how you know that? The reason why? Because they hadn't played one single minute with that lineup that they had with Quinn Cook in the game all season. We're at game, what, 96?
Now, let me say this. That's remarkable. That was the first minute. I hadn't seen that. That was the first minute they played with that 5-man lineup.
Yes.
I guess it makes sense because Cook was brought up when Steph was hurt, so why would he be out there in those spots?
Yeah, so Jim, to your question, there's no way they called up a play because Steve Kerr had never anticipated that lineup being in the game. And the way the dysfunction, the lack of spacing, the lack of movement lets you know they didn't have a great concept for what they're going to do. So in the last 2 games, if I'm Steve Kerr, the reason why I'm concerned is I know I've crushed this NBA the last 4 years. I know I've only won 2 of the championships. I gave one away up 3-1. But these closeout situations, how to close out games, you know something? We're not real good at that. Well, you know why? You've been so dominant. You got such an access of shooters and scorers and great players that's a part of the game that you're not really, really good at. Who's going to shoot the ball at the end of the game?
The last time I remember, there's 2 times that stick out in my mind of the Warriors in a theoretical big game or a definite big game, and they had the play you remember. One is obviously Kevin Durant last year coming up court after the Corver missed at the 3 on LeBron. And the one prior to that was Steph from like 38 feet in the game against Oklahoma City, the 73-win year in overtime, if you remember. That game was on a Friday night. It was in overtime. He pulls up from almost 40. And they're not in these spots a lot. So they don't have a lot of experience in these spots. But Kevin Durant in these fourth quarters now, this is going to be a thing. You can't be 1 for 5 in game 4 in the fourth quarter and in game 5 in the fourth quarter 0 for 4. You can't be shooting 18% and 12% from 3 and averaging 3 points in the fourth quarter when in the first 3 quarters you look like the most unstoppable scorer in the league, and when fatigue is not really an excuse here because he is getting rested. He is getting subbed out. He's not playing 44 minutes a night. Like, game 4 was the only game where he played plus 40 minutes in this entire series.
But for this whole team, what percentage of the season have they really only had to turn it on the first or the second or the third quarter? No. There are so few times where they've had to really come from behind and play hard in the fourth quarter and try to win a game in the last minute.
And, Jenna, that's why I believe that this team is not as prepared as the first Golden State team before they had KD, when they were trying to win as many games as possible, where winning was important to them. The regular season was paramount to them. Now, we saw them sleepwalk through the regular season, and now you start getting in close and contested series and games. You can see that this is something they haven't worked on an awful lot.
And this is why, at the beginning of the show, as petty or maybe even unprofessional as some would see it seemed for me to be happy the Rockets won. It is good for basketball fans for the regular season to matter. And if Houston wins this series,
then it matters.
The regular season will have mattered. The Warriors just saying we're going to flip a switch. We don't care about home court. We don't care about any of this. It will bite them. It will have bitten them if they lose the series. Now, they haven't lost this series yet. Still got to beat them one more time. But that's why as a basketball fan, it's easy to. I know a lot of people that don't like the way the Rockets play, don't like James Harden. They think CP3 is. They've never liked him. They don't like D'Antoni's style, and they're rooting for Houston because it will make the regular season feel like it's not nonsense, like it actually has some impact.
And we saw that the way Game 4 ended was a mental blow for the Warriors. Let's see if the way Game 5 ended will be as well. All right, coming up, who'll step up for the Dallas Cowboys?